Hi, welcome to the Dairy Hour podcast, where rural charm meets personal growth. Join us as we milk every moment for wisdom, self-improvement, and mental wellness. I'm your host, Val Lavigne, a rural dairy farming mom with a passion for filling hearts while never forgetting to fill my own cup. Get ready for insightful conversations, empowering tips, and a splash of fun and laughs, of course. Let's cultivate growth, nourish our minds, and embrace the journey together. This is the Dairy Hour podcast, where every episode is a breath of fresh air and the inspiration you need to be your best self. Hey Dairy Hour listeners, this is Val Lavigne, and I'm thrilled to tell you about an event you won't want to miss. Mark your calendars for the Forward Together National Conference happening in Kansas City from November 5th to the 7th, 2024. This incredible conference hosted by the Dairy Girl Network is the perfect opportunity for dairy women, whether you're on the farm or in the industry, to come together, learn, and recharge. With over 25 dynamic speakers, engaging breakout sessions, and thought-provoking panel discussions, you will leave feeling energized, connected, and armed with new knowledge to succeed in your daily journey. Oh, and I'll be there. I can't wait to connect with all of you. From sustainability to leadership, there's something for everyone. Plus, if you can't make it to Kansas City, don't worry. You can join us virtually from anywhere with their interactive on-demand option. Join us for 3 days of networking, learning, and a whole lot of fun. Registration is now open, and it's time to book your travel for the best price. Head to dairygirlnetwork.com to learn more and register. Registration will close in early October. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Dairy Hour podcast. I am your host, Val Lavigne, and I am coming at you today with a solo episode. So first off, my apologies about last week. I definitely did not get an episode dropped for you guys last Wednesday. It has been a crazy few weeks. Besides getting through the county fair, we have started homeschooling. So as most of you know, I already run a pretty busy life, and I thought it would be a really fun experience and rewarding to start homeschooling my 3 kids. So I'm going to chat with you a little bit about that and what led me to do that, as well as, just a few little tidbits that I have picked up during this journey, because it's been a journey. It's not all sunshine and butterflies, definitely not, but I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about what it can be and what it can do for my kids and me. So I'm really excited about this. So my reasons for homeschooling. First off, I spend a lot of time away working on the weekends between our catering business and everything else going on. So when the kids are all at school during the week, it's really tough for me, especially, some weekends I go work an event Friday night, I work an event Saturday, I work an event Sunday, and sometimes I just feel like I'm passing them from person to person and not getting to actually spend that time with them that they deserve from me. So getting to spend the weeks with them makes it a little bit different in that aspect. I also really want to be able to give them a really cool personalized learning, be able to play into their strengths, their interests, and do more hands-on things that way, rather than just the generic school curriculums that we have. And this, disclaimer, this episode has absolutely nothing against our public school system. They are very necessary. Some people, homeschooling is not for them, and I understand that. This is just a chapter in our lives that we want to be in. But this episode is by no means meant to discredit or be, anti-public schools. This is just where we are in life. My kids have all had educational disruption. Well, the girls that are in 4th grade, they've had some educational disruptions from all of the COVID shutdowns and things like that. Their spelling and handwriting is atrocious, which is something that I am very particular about. So being able to work specifically on that has been really important to me as well, and ensure that they, I get that technology in this generation is super important, and there's lovely things such as spell check and all of that fun stuff. However, I feel as though people, in order to be taken seriously in this day and age, also still need to have, neat handwriting, plus be able to spell their way out of a paper bag with simple words. So we're working really hard on spelling and neatening up that handwriting. Confidence that they can do anything. They just feel like they can shut down instead of, grabbing the bull by the horns per se and figuring it out. They just say, oh, I can't do that. And then they don't try. So part of our schooling is a lot of working on ensuring that they hopefully can learn that drive before it's too late, because that's also not a great way to be successful in life. And I really want to set my children up to be as successful as possible. My son is at first grade level, and he in the spring got diagnosed with an auditory processing disorder. Long story short, the pediatric hearing specialist said that in a classroom setting with other children, he is maybe catching 30% of what's being said by the teacher. He gets overwhelmed by all of the wavelengths, all the different sound lengths in the air. And instead of his brain working hard to sort those out, his brain just goes, oh my gosh, overload. I cannot focus on what I'm supposed to be, and then just shuts everything off. So you can talk to him and there's nothing being absorbed, and he's just pretty much as good as just doesn't hear what's going on. So add that in with, 6-year-old little boy ADD, and it's a disaster. So I am trying to work with him one-on-one, because he is extremely smart, and maybe even bring some things back to farming, which he's interested in. So it helps catch his attention. But with homeschooling, instead of having to sit in a classroom environment, we can do things in little doses, whereas he's able to get up and move around. Not to mention, he gets a lot more hands-on learning, which is really great for him. So again, just going back to that personalized education path is something that I'm really excited about being able to do. And again, hands-on learning experiences. I want all of my children to be able to have those hands-on learning experiences that they will get some of at a public school, but I feel as though, especially being on a farm, I feel like they can get a lot more of those by being home and being able to be an active part of our daily schedules and lives, giving them more chores to do, not having them just, have to get up, rush to school, get home. They're exhausted. They still have to fight through homework. I want them to be able to do chores, be a valuable member of the family, and, get those hands-on learning experiences, because there are so many different things that kids can learn by doing just on a day-to-day basis rather than just in a classroom environment. So I'm really excited about those hands-on learning experiences. One of the other things that I really enjoy is, just it kind of goes along with the hands-on learning experiences, but the time spent schooling, if you've done any research into it, once you get a good grasp on what you're doing, the time spent on schooling in a day is nowhere near what it's nowhere near the time that they spend in school learning. My girls at the 4th grade level are maybe spending 2 hours a day on schooling, and my son 1st grade level is spending, maybe an hour a day on schooling. And that's just sitting down, like bookwork, things like that. Obviously, we continue to teach and learn throughout the day and do hands-on things. We get a lot of outside time as long as the weather is great, and that's all really exciting for me as a mom, to get to see them grow and do things in a different way. More flexibility and freedom. I'm looking forward to the winter months when we can just pick up, go visit family in Florida and do some schooling in Florida. It's not them missing days of class, in a public school system environment, but we can basically take our schooling anywhere. So I'm hoping that that opens up a lot of doors and opportunities, experiences in the future for us as a family to go out and do hands-on learning, explore the world, and be adventurous. So I'm really excited about all of those things. With that being said, I am very aware that this is a chapter in our lives. This is not necessarily how it is going to end. I don't know if I see myself homeschooling, obviously through the rest of their high school career. We are leaving it up to how, we're reevaluating periodically and seeing how things are going at that point. With that being said, we did tell ourselves that we are trying it for a year because it takes a long time to get everybody adjusted into that homeschool mindset and get those routines established, get all the curriculums, things like that. So we are definitely trying this for a year, and I have been told by many people that homeschool, buckle up for the first 6 months. It is rough and tough, and you just kind of have to get through it. So that's the stage that we're in now. And some days are better than others. Some days are just run screaming for the hills days. But to just be able to evaluate and get through this, I am really excited to see what it's like a year from now and how it goes. So with that being said, it is a chapter in our life. It is not necessarily the end of the book. It is what works for our family right here and right now. So I'm excited for that. A few kind of things about homeschooling that I've learned while doing the research and talking to other people about homeschooling. Homeschooling is definitely not for everyone. It's not for the faint of heart. And that's something that you need to look deep inside yourself and see if you were to be that provider of homeschool. Is that something that you can do? Is that something that you yourself could handle? And that's, obviously a big part of it, because if you don't think that you can be mentally capable of doing it, then it's probably not for you. Tara Vanderdusen, who I've talked to quite a bit about homeschooling, has said they set, different time frames where they stop and reevaluate as a family if it's working for them, if it's not working for them, what's working for them with what they're currently doing, what they need to change, what they want to work on, different things like that. And I feel like that is really important while you go through this, because it's not an end goal. It's an ever moving target, and making sure that you are constantly evaluating where you're at and where you're going. I feel like that's really, really important, especially when it comes to the education of your children. So with that being said, like I alluded to before, we are trying this for a year, and we're just going to keep reevaluating as things go on. What's the worst that could happen? They go back to public school. That's what the worst that could happen. And I don't fear them falling behind. I don't fear them being out of their social circles. We are working really hard to ensure that they still maintain friendships that they had from being in school, and being with other kids in the community. At some point, I will probably look into homeschool groups. Right now, I'm just focusing on trying to get them into the curriculum, figuring out how schooling is going to work. And right now is the busy season for farming. So, that's our main focus right now. When winter comes and things get a little bit slower, we shall reevaluate and see what kind of programs we want to do out in the community as far as that goes. All 3 kids are currently also playing soccer with the athletic association for the school. So they do see some of their friends on a frequent basis with that as well. And we will be evaluating whether or not they do winter sports fairly quickly and spring sports as well, because we do feel like ensuring that they have those ties and those friends still in the community is super important to our children. Homeschooling, with looking at curriculums, it's important to find a curriculum that works for you based upon your values and based upon your budget. The curriculum that I am using, which is The Good and the Beautiful, is a curriculum that you can actually download the PDF for free. However, you can also purchase the books and materials as well. I went the more expensive route of purchasing the books and materials because my time and sanity, and by the time I pay for ink and paper for my printer and bind them all together, went the quicker, easier route that obviously was more expensive, but that was what I felt would work best for me at this time. Another thing, if you're considering homeschool, making sure that you have that support system. I do travel a lot. I'm actually recording this not from home because I haven't had time at home to sit down and do this by myself with no interruptions. Making sure that you have that support is so important from your family, from your spouse, significant other, whomever. Making sure that you have that help is going to be super important. You should not feel like this is something that you have to take on by yourself at all times, because that is, I feel like, or at least for me, that would be a real quick way to go insane. So ensuring that you have that support, have that built-in time for yourself is really, really important. It is a different style of learning, and that's something that you as a parent and homeschool quote unquote teacher needs to accept before you can do anything. You cannot go in and expect it to be structured like normal school. You cannot go in with those same ideals and expectations. I kind of went into it with we're going to kind of shoot for this, particular amount of things to be done per week. And if we don't, we don't. If we get more done, we get more done. We're just kind of feeling it out and getting a feel for how it all works right now. Still, we're about 4 weeks in at this point, and we're just kind of going with the flow and figuring it out. If the kids don't quite grasp a concept or a topic, the really cool thing about it is that we can spend more time on that topic. We don't have to move on to the next lesson. You can do things at your own pace. We're quickly figuring out that my son, the curriculum that we picked, they say it's a touch more advanced than the public school curriculums. So, going to the next grade level in that curriculum, there could be a gap. There might not be. It depends on where your child is at. But I'm quickly figuring out a few lessons into the language arts that my son is not quite to that level yet. So I actually ordered the kindergarten curriculum, and we're going to back up and redo that kindergarten language arts curriculum to ensure that he has the foundations that he needs to be successful in the future. And that's just one of the really cool things that I've found out about homeschooling that I love. I think that that's really cool. It's not like we had to hold him back for a grade. It's not like, oh, this isn't working out, just push him through. We can go back and make sure that we have that foundation for success and then move forward. And if we need to go into the summer and keep working to keep him quote unquote caught up, then that's what we will do. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. And that's a really wonderful thing. So I am really excited about this. I will try to keep you all updated on this as it goes through. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me. Will do my best to answer questions and, or at least guide you in the right direction. It's been definitely a learning experience, and it requires you to have an open mind. And, I've taken a lot of other people's advice that I admire and that I know do it well, which is really important as well. So that's what I have for you for today. But here we are. Bear with me as I continue on this journey that I started. I will still do my best to get these podcasts out regularly. And here we are. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thanks for listening. Have a story to share or wisdom to impart? Be a guest on the Dairy Hour podcast with me, Val Lavigne. We are seeking passionate individuals from all walks of life for insightful conversations and empowering tips, from mindset to motherhood to nutrition and fitness. We cover all of the essentials to be your best self. Share your journey and inspire others. Reach out today to be a guest on the Dairy Hour podcast, where your voice can make a difference. For more information, visit dairygalval.com or email at dairygalval@icloud.com.